Loss comes in many forms, and usually in unexpected ways. It can be devastating, leaving you facing an uphill struggle to go on with life without someone you thought would always be there. But life does go on, and even in the deepest despair, we can find hope. Welcome to Grief Relief with your hosts, Drs. Gloria and Heidi Horsley, brought to you by the Open to Hope Foundation, helping people find hope after loss.
Welcome to our show today. I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley with my co-host and daughter,
Dr. Heidi Horsley.
Well, Heidi and I talk a lot about sibling loss, and we run into a lot of people that have had sibling loss, and sometimes it gets a bit minimized. So we wanted to do a show on sibling loss today.
Hi, Zander.
Hey, how are you?
Zander?
So great to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much.
Come on and have a seat. Come on in.
Thank you.
And you know Dana.
I do.
Yes. Hello.
Hey, Dana. How are you?
Great. Dana and Zander were at Bereaved Parents USA in Sacramento this summer, and you guys presented a workshop together, didn't you?
We did.
Okay, and what was it? Tell me a little bit about it.
The workshop was a sibling panel for parents.
Okay. Very
and
good.
We were kind of in the hot seat. It was just Dana and I, and they were asking questions, and I think it was really helpful. I mean, the main theme that we got is we don't see our living children grieving, and what can we do, and how can we support them.
And what was your answer to that? I love that question.
Yeah, I said we are grieving. I said, but understand that especially as an adult, a young adult, when my sister died, I was very aware of what my parents' grief was, and I certainly didn't want to add to it. And it's sort of this vicious circle where, as a parent, you want to take care of your children and relieve their pain. I know for me, I wanted very much to take away any pain my parents felt about the loss of my sister.
Well, and you had a pretty high-profile loss, too, because she was murdered, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, there was a lot of media coverage on it. And had we, the man who murdered my sister hung himself 10 days later in the Cook County prison.
Wow.
Had we gone to trial, it would have most likely been on court TV, and it would have been just a very high-profile case.
And Zander, you've gone on to write a book. I want to make sure we get that in.
Absolutely.
About sibling loss.
Yeah. It's called Making Lemonade, Choosing a Positive Pathway After Loss of Your Sibling. And it's, you know, this book came from my experience of there not being very many resources. And I wrote it and got 5 of my friends to contribute also.
That's great.
Nice.
And I love the title.
And how do we find it?
You can find it at lossofasibling.com. It's also available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, Kindle version. Also,
can you talk a little bit about the experience with your parents of having this murder in and of the media? Were the media coming in and involved with you at all, and did they try to interview you? And also, Dana, when we get to her about having a brother lost for
It was
9
missing.
days.
So they both had a public
So
piece.
you had a public piece. So how was that?
That was, you know, that was very challenging because there were many things I thought I might deal with in my life, but murder really wasn't one of them, and losing my sibling certainly wasn't one of them. And to just be trying to deal with that and having the media following us. The day after my sister was murdered, my father and I went to Chicago to talk to the police, identify my sister, do the things we needed to do. And we spent the whole day dodging the media.
Wow. And Dana, was that a similar experience for you in trying to find Sean for 9 days?
I think I mean, the media was encouraged for us because we were searching. So just the
So
pain
you wanted them
the pain of not knowing where he was and wanting the media to be everywhere we were was beneficial, you know, to get the word out and have everybody see it. So.
And he was just on the side of the road, right? His car had gone off the side of the road.
The freeway, yeah, just behind some brush.
Wow.
So, Zander, we had asked Dana, Heidi had asked her, if you had some advice for siblings out there, what would it be?
Yeah, the first thing I'd say is remember that you do have a choice every day to talk about or not talk about your sibling. And the way that I keep my sister Lucy alive is by talking about her and remembering her and telling the stories. I don't canonize her. You mentioned, Heidi, about how you know, Scott can never do any wrong.
Because sometimes we tend to, you know, and people I've worked with have tend to put him on a pedestal.
Yeah.
After loss.
And Lucy was quite a pedestal girl because she was in law school,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, she definitely was. I mean, my father's a retired judge, so he was, you know, the oldest daughter and stuff. But I think the key is to remember that you know, this was a person, and they're a very important person. But remember the good and the bad. I laugh all the time about her.
Now, she was just home studying for law school?
She was. She was studying for an exam. Normally, she wouldn't have been in her apartment. The man who killed her was a maintenance worker in the building. To the best of what we can put together, he let himself in to do a petty theft. She was there. He panicked. He strangled her, jumped out her 4th floor window onto a 2nd floor roof where he broke his ankle. The police had him right away. There was never any question that this was the person who had killed my sister. And as I said, 10 days later, he hung himself.
Wow, that's intense. You know, and you said something earlier about our relationships with our siblings. They're complex, right? And I mean, that's what makes them so beautiful. I mean, we love them, we argue with them, we try on new identities with them because they're safe people. And I always say we fight with them because we love them. If I didn't care about you, I wouldn't invest any energy into you, and I wouldn't invest positive or negative. That's just part of the sibling relationship.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, what about your parents? You said you were really worried about your parents. Did you feel like you got a lot of support from family members and just people in general, or did you feel like that a lot of people were expecting you to stand up and be strong for your parents?
I think people were expecting me to be strong. My experience was everyone asked how my parents were, and I got that question, but no one asked how I was.
Yes.
And my loss is just as significant as theirs.
Yep.
It's not the same, but it's equally significant. I mean, Heidi, as you pointed out, our siblings are the longest relationship we'll probably have in our lifetime.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, I wanted to talk too a little bit about male-female differences.
Yeah.
Here we've got a male. Did you, when you were doing your workshops and things, have you found that males and females are different in dealing with this?
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I think young men, we tend to be a lot more reserved about how we feel about something and have that socialized, tough exterior. And, people I work with, the women that I'll work with, definitely feel it a lot more and are freer to express that emotion.
Yeah. Is that your thought, Dana?
I haven't seen much of the differences. I also internalized it a lot, and I didn't show my emotions about it. I'm not a big crier, so I didn't cry much. I, journaled and kept kind of the stuff to myself.
Boy, I think that just gets rid of a stereotype right there, Heidi. I really do.
Because you have exceptions.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, here Dana has a stepfather that is Alan Peterson, who is so out there with his emotions.
Yeah.
And he's such a big love. And you do have the exceptions to that, the stereotype.
Yeah.
But I think guys are given messages growing up, and Zander knows this, shake it off, walk it off, be a man, big boys don't cry, all those kind of messages about grieving publicly.
I've actually taught workshops before on crying, where I've had men in the workshops talking about the fact that they have difficulty crying. And there actually is a hormonal reason for that.
Wow.
The lactose and women have hormonal reasons that they cry more, and sometimes guys will say, "I wish I could cry more," and I've controlled. I've been taught not to cry, but there are some biological reasons that men don't cry. How are you doing with crying?
I got no problem with it. I can tell you. I mean, certainly there are the days where I'll have some reminder of my sister, and I'll be driving in the car, I'll hear a song, and it may get me, and I'll cry. But one of the things that I do is I use those unexpected opportunities as a chance to remember her. I didn't know I was going to have this opportunity. And for me, that's a lot more, I like really choosing the positive pathway through this whole experience.
Zander, I love what you just said, because it is so your book, and is so who you are and how you live. I've chosen this. You hear a song that reminds you of Lucy, and you've chosen it as an opportunity to remember her.
I love that.
Yes.
Dana, have you gotten that kind of feeling?
Yeah, definitely. I related a lot when you were talking about that, because probably the times where I do get the memories of my brothers when I'll be listening to a song late at night on the way home, and then I'm able to cry and think about it, but it's that times when you feel close to them and you get the memories.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. So it's an opportunity to feel close, rather than to sit there and grieve and say, oh, they're dead, but to honor and remember that they lived and that they were and are our siblings.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm kind of interested in the fact that you two seem to have good relationships with your siblings. I mean, I just wonder, sometimes I hear about these kids who have wild child siblings, and they're kind of mad at them because they didn't, you know, take better care, or, you know, this wasn't the life I planned.
You know, I work with a lot of siblings that say this, and I'm just going to chime in here and say two things. One is that that's a normal part of the sibling situation, and also sometimes we don't realize how close we are to our siblings until they're no longer here.
Right. Well, listen, I want to thank you two for being on the show today, and it's been great to have you on, and thank you for all the work you're doing.
Yeah, I love all that you're
help the
doing, and you guys are really such an example to all the siblings out there that you can transform your life and continue bonds with your siblings, and like you said, choose a positive pathway.
And as a mom, I want to say to everybody, look at these guys.
Yes.
You're gonna, your kids are going to make it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Well, Heidi, great show today.
I loved it. I love my siblings. They're awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening to the show today, and God bless. And now we're here from Billy Benson.
Very good.
Met her in sunshine along by the sea. With her she brought all sweet love to me. Look in her eyes and you know what I mean. I always love her. Together we'd stroll through the glory of night, painting wild pictures of stars in the sky. She said she's my only love, princess.